All right, so you guys are sending us a ton of stuff on this whole SEC, DOJ, crypto crackdown. Seems like everyone wants to know what's really going on.
Yeah, lots of questions swirling around.
For sure, and the articles you sent are all over this thing with these firms calling themselves market makers, but it's, I don't know.
A little murky.
Exactly. Like, are they legit, or is this just a way to play fast and loose in brand new space?
Well, that's what we're here to unpack, right? Cut through the jargon, get to the heart of it.
Exactly. And honestly, some of this stuff is pretty wild. Like, I was reading this piece by John Reed Stark. He's a former SEC chief, and he's saying the crypto scene, it's not even the Wild West anymore.
Oh, what's he calling it?
He says it's more like The Walking Dead.
Okay, all right, so that's a pretty grim image.
All right. Makes you wonder who's calling the shots if that's the case.
I mean, Stark definitely doesn't pull any punches. Like, he goes on to compare NFTs to, and I quote, fractionalized links to the metadata of a JPEG file of a lame cartoon of a gorilla.
Okay, first of all, ouch. But yeah, I can see what he's saying.
And people are dropping millions on these things.
It's that disconnect, right, between what something actually is versus the hype machine. And that brings us to these so-called market makers. I mean, in the regular financial world, they're supposed to make things more stable, not less.
Right, exactly. Like a market maker, they're registered usually with FINRA. They're holding securities. It's about keeping the market liquid, making sure trading goes smoothly, not drumming up hype.
So then what are these crypto firms doing slapping that label on if you're not actually, making a market?
Well, the DOJ investigation actually uncovered something pretty wild. One of these market makers, they straight up admitted that their goal was to make sure other buyers lose money.
Hold on, seriously, they admitted that.
Yeah, they said it. Their objective was to guarantee their clients were profiting, even if it meant other people were taking a bath.
So the opposite of what an actual market maker is supposed to do.
It's not even market making at that point, it's manipulation.
I mean, that's just blatant, right? Like, are they not even trying to hide it?
Well, this seemed like the SEC and DOJ, they're not messing around either. This whole operation, it was huge, right?
Yeah, from what I was reading, it was international, multiple agencies involved.
Millions of dollars seized. And this is crazy. One of the articles was saying the FBI, they actually went and created their own cryptocurrency for this.
No way. Really? Why would they even, how do you even do that?
Apparently it was all part of the investigation, like a way to track the flow of funds, attract these bad actors.
Talk about going undercover, right. But I guess that goes to show how seriously they're taking all of this.
Absolutely. And, the SEC, they usually just go with the civil penalties, fines, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, that's their usual MO.
So the fact that they're bringing criminal charges, that's a big deal. It's like they're sending a message the party's over.
Especially with Gensler at the helm. I mean, he has not been shy about his whole stance on regulating crypto, or like you said, maybe not regulating it.
All right, like he keeps saying, the laws are already there. Crypto isn't getting special treatment. It's like, come to the table, get registered, or face the music.
And that music can be pretty harsh, it sounds like. One of the articles even mentioned him saying a lot of these crypto leaders from 2 years ago, they're, quote, either in jail or awaiting extradition. So yeah, not exactly the time to be playing fast and loose, right?
It's not if you're playing in their sandbox.
Right.
But, it's not like everyone's on board with this whole Gensler's way or the highway approach.
Right, yeah. Like Chris Dixon from 816s. He's got some thoughts on this whole regulatory uncertainty thing.
He does. And he's saying, yeah, it's a problem, but not for the reasons people think. He's arguing that this whole lack of clarity, it's actually benefiting the ones who are already exploiting the system.
So it's kind of like the lack of rules is actually working in favor of the rule breakers?
Exactly. Dixon says it's not hurting the legitimate players as much as people are saying. He thinks we need more clarity, but to protect investors and allow the above-board crypto businesses to grow, not to give a free pass to the ones who are already breaking the rules.
Okay, so less about the rules themselves, more about who they're actually helping or hurting. Interesting. Which kind of brings us back to this term, regulatory misappropriation. It's a mouthful, but it seems pretty key to what's going on here.
Totally. It's like they're taking these terms we all know, exchange, market maker, and they're using them in a way that sounds legit, but there's nothing backing it up.
So it's all smoke and mirrors, just trying to make it seem like there's oversight when there's not.
Right. And the SEC's been saying this for a while now. Back in 2018, they put out a statement basically saying, don't be fooled. Just because a platform calls itself an exchange doesn't mean it's held to the same standards as an actual, national securities exchange.
Feels like they're constantly playing catch up with this industry. But here's the million-dollar question, the one I bet everyone's wondering. Gensler keeps saying most cryptocurrencies are securities. What does that even mean for the average investor, for their portfolios?
It's the big question, right? Like, if the SEC gets what it wants, tighter regulations, more transparency,
Which, on the surface, sounds like a good thing.
potentially
Huh.
could lead to a more stable market, but could also stifle innovation, make it harder for smaller players to, break in. It's a tough one.
It's a trade-off, right? More stability, maybe less of that, I don't know, that Wild West feeling that kind of drew a lot of people to crypto in the first place.
For sure. And that's what makes this whole thing so interesting, right? There's no easy answer. More oversight could mean more trust, more people willing to jump in, but will it still have that same appeal?
Right. If it's playing by all the same rules as Wall Street, is it really still, crypto? Let's bring this back around to, like, what does this actually mean for the person at home who's been following all of this, right? We've gone from crypto is the future to crypto is mostly securities in the blink of an eye. That's a pretty big shift.
Huge. And it begs the question, if cryptocurrencies are treated like traditional securities, will the tech, the innovation behind it, will that even be able to keep up?
That's what I keep coming back to. This isn't just about, like, which coins are going to make you rich. It's about this whole idea of what crypto is supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
Decentralized, disruptive. Can it be those things and still play by the rules?
Million-dollar question. And honestly, I don't think anybody has the answer yet. But that's why we do this, right? To at least try to make sense of it all.
Exactly. And hopefully give everyone listening the tools to make smart choices, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, right?
Absolutely. Knowledge is power, especially in a space like this. Couldn't agree more. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here, folks. The SEC crackdown, the arguments for and against more regulation, and what all of this could mean for the future of crypto. It's a lot to digest.
And we've seen even these supposed experts can't agree on what it all means. There's no crystal ball here, folks.
Which I think brings us to the big question for everyone listening. What does this all mean for you, for your own investing? Is it still worth the risk? That's something only you can decide. Hopefully this has given you some things to think about. Until next time, stay curious.